increasing concerns this morning that political ideology could influence Supreme Court decisions, especially after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. In a special assignment report, the network's Natalie LaRoche-Pietri takes a closer look.
Many people were angry last summer when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and in the dockets they've accepted since then, one thing has become clear. This court will not be shying away from tackling major political issues. From abortion to election law cases, the court is expressing interest in cases that dramatically alter long-standing precedents. In the 2021 term, the court made more conservative decisions than it had since 1931, according to a study by professors from Washington University in St. Louis and the University of Michigan. The justices have largely made decisions along ideological lines. Justice Alito, for example, sided with his liberal colleagues only 10% of the time in the 2021 term. That, combined with the lack of moderate justices on the bench, is something that Professor Elizabeth Beskey from the Washington College of Law at American University considers a weakness of the court. When Beskey clerked for Justice Sandra O'Connor in 1994, she said that decisions were made on a case-by-case basis.
We don't have that kind of moderate, I'm going to call each case as I see it, I'm amenable to arguments wing of the court. I think this group has been battle tested and selected based on a particular, their adherence and faithfulness to a particular agenda.
While it has improved since the Dobbs v. Jackson ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade, public opinion of the court is still not high. A poll by Marquette Law School in January found that 53% of adults disapprove of the way the High Court is handling its job. Beskey says that the court has had public legitimacy concerns at various points in history, like during the early 1930s progressive era, when an also conservative bench was striking down FDR's legislation.
We have the most conservative court that we've had in quite some time. And I think, if the country is sort of at a 50-50 razor's edge, we have a court that is out of step in its, polarization and in its conservative leanings, and they're not afraid to act on it.
Others feel differently. Attorney Troy Shelton from the Fox Rothschild law firm in Raleigh, North Carolina, and member of the Federalist Society, a national organization of conservative lawyers, says that a justice's ideology is key in the judicial process.
I certainly think that the court is independent of party and partisan politics. They have their own judicial philosophies. If someone's going to put aside their judicial philosophy, then I wonder how they're going to decide the cases at all.
A case that has received a lot of attention is Moore v. Harper. North Carolina residents sued the State Board of Elections and various Republican legislators for congressional redistricting that they argue is partisan gerrymandering. North Carolina legislators want the court to give them the power to set voting and election rules without any limits from state courts or other laws. Some fear that the case could critically change election laws across the U.S. and are calling it a threat to free democratic elections. Shelton says that the argument on whether the federal constitution can limit state courts' interpretations of their own constitutions is unusual, but the fear is overblown. Other issues the court has addressed include gun laws, climate change, and freedom of religion. The immediate and long-term influences of this court are already taking effect. From Washington, D.C., I'm Natalie LaRoche-Pietri for the South Florida Media Network.